Hey everybody, it's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. Follow the leader. I came up with this idea. I came up with the idea to do this video after thinking about all the leadership videos that have been done on YouTube by various channels like K-Goat's channel and The Prepared Mind, Doug Bass, General S. Lee, Miami Prepper, and there were a lot of and this is going on the show The Walking Dead. There was a big there's been this big discussion as to who's a better leader. Of course, I said that I believe Rick is the best leader because at first thing he doesn't actually want to be a leader. It just falls into his lap, and his willingness to go above and beyond to help out the other members of the group, even when it comes to putting his life in peril. But I always wonder, for those who have critiqued Rick, and I always wondered, for those who say he's a bad leader, I wonder, you can't put all of it on him, because obviously he said that he didn't want to lead in the first place. It just happened. I remember in an episode, one of my favorite episodes, Vatos, he was talking to Guillermo, and G was telling him, he's just a custodian. Everyone looks to him. He doesn't know why. And Rick looks at him and says because they can, and that's he understands that they're in the same boat. So that's why he gave him the guns. He gave him some of the guns and ammo he had in the bag. And I think it posed a big question. Instead of looking at Rick, or always looking at the leader, why not look at the people who follow him? What kind of people are surround in the show? Look at the people who surround Rick. That's another reason why I say he's a good leader. He has people like he had Herschel, and there's Michonne and there's Daryl. He had Glenn. He has Glenn, even to an extent his son. The Carol. And the people that followed him saw that there was something in him that was worth following, even through all the mess that's going on around them. They had confidence in his ability to lead, and I think a lot of people miss that. They want to focus on the figurehead. Rick is a figurehead, but overall, he's the whole group is leading in some form or fashion. It's just that in certain situations, it boils down to how would Rick conduct how would Rick want to conduct this, and you look at that from with groups in general, with group dynamics. You'll have someone who is ahead, but you also have to look at what people surround the figurehead. I think one of the things that was mentioned, I think in another, I forget which video it was, but one of the qualities of good leadership is that you surround yourself with people who make up for the things that you lack. So let's say the leader that you have, they're good at scavenging and they're good at cooking and they're good at first aid, but they fall behind when it comes to tactics, to farming, to repairing weapons, things like that. So it'd be wise, if this person is to be a figurehead, that he surrounds himself with people who can fill those slots. Someone who he can delegate those powers to, because it's best suited for them. And I believe Rick has done that with in the show. He's done that with Daryl. Because when they're looking for Sophia, Daryl was the best. He was the best tracker out of the whole group. So he followed his lead. Remember when they first started looking for Sophia, and they came across that one walker, and they had to gut him. And Rick let Daryl take the kill and basically gut him, check his body essentially first before he stepped in, look for more clues. There's also looking back in the prison. He couldn't be there to watch Judith, so he left that up to Beth and Herschel and Carl. He entrusted Carl to watch his sister. So it's he had all these people following him, and he had to encourage them to step up in certain areas, because in areas that he was lacking. Also, remember in the episode Guts, in the first season when when Glenn was being introduced, when they had to go down to the tunnel, and Glenn was saying why he couldn't really get the word out as to why he didn't want anyone following him. And Rick told him, he said, "Speak your mind. Go ahead." He didn't want to cut him off. He wanted him to say what was on his mind as to why he does better. Why he does better alone. So it's one thing to look at the leader, but you also have to look at the people that he surrounds himself with, or rather the people that follow him. You also remember, the last episode of season 2, wherein he basically just had it with the complaints, with shouldering a lot of the burdens that were and he also he went through killing his best friend, and losing having to leave the farm, and he was even his own wife even abandoned him after telling her what happened to him between him and Shane. And when he gave him when he told him if he gave him the option, if you think you do better on your own, there's your door. If you're not gonna do it, then you're gonna do things my way. And if you notice, no one left. The people who were vocal about who made the most complaints didn't leave, because they realized they couldn't make it on their own. But he worked through empowering them to be able to make it on their own. I remember Carol was one of the people who complained against him, and now Carol is very we see the show now. Carol's very strong individual in terms of a lot of decisions she's had to make. So I also think a good leader, he would push the people that surround him to go even further, because they may have to be on their own. They still follow his lead, but he still wants them to be able to think on their own. He wants independent. He always wanted independent thinkers, people who would not just follow his lead, but also have great input to make up for where he was lacking. And I think anytime we all can't be leaders, or I think rather we're all leaders in some estimation, but we all have the things that we're lacking in. So it's good that we surround ourselves with people who can make up for that, as well as ourselves being around. If we have to follow someone, see if we can make up the slack that our current that whoever we're following has. So that's it's just something, some food to think, some food for thought. I think I still think Rick is aside from being the main character, I think he is a good leader. Because of the people that he surrounds himself with, and also the people that follow him, they always are willing to step in and help him when he's in a jam. When Rick was almost getting choked to death, Michonne stepped in. When Rick was when he got into that fight with Andrew, and Oscar grabbed the gun and he shot Andrew and then handed the gun back to Rick. When Rick was on the fence, he was holding back 2 walkers at the same time. Daryl came in and shot one through the head. Then Merle came in and helped him. I remember Herschel was saying that when he was trying to get Rick into planning, that you done so much for us that we have to do this. I'm obligated to help you now and teach you this new skill that you can pass it on to your son, and also we can be able to make supplies for ourselves, make more food supplies for ourselves. So I would say that Rick has surrounded himself with people that have made him a much better leader, and also develop leadership within themselves. But please tell me what you think. Do you think that a leader doesn't need to surround himself with people that can make up for this, make up for what he's lacking? Or do you think a leader is basically someone who's in front but still needs the support of the people who's following him at that time, or all the time? I like to see what comments you leave. If you're new to the channel, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this video, my old videos, and hope you look forward to videos to come. Any comments, please leave them in the comment section, or make a video response. Any gripes, complaints, you can leave them in my inbox. I'll check them out and see what's out there. But that's my video. Follow the leader. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.